Hey everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I get a lot of comments from people asking me how I'm so organized, how I manage my time so well, how I stay motivated to get work done. And while I'm definitely not the most organized human being, there are 100% days where my mind is a complete mess. I feel like I've picked up a couple tricks, especially in the past couple of years, that have helped me to turn the mess inside my head into a well-oiled machine. So today I'm going to be sharing some of those secrets with you. Now keep in mind these are very personal. What works for me might not work for you, but hopefully maybe you'll pick something up along the way. We have a lot to get through. Let's get started. My first tip is to visualize and put to action. Now this is basically just a fancy way of saying create a schedule that you can actually look at. It's not just in your head. I find that when I have a physical schedule, something that I can see in front of me, it registers a lot better in my brain rather than me just trying to remember it later on. So whether that means using a planner, a bullet journal, a piece of paper, or even a digital app, whatever works for you. I've actually used all of those various methods of creating a schedule at different points in my life. It really just depends on your needs. If you've watched any of my previous videos, then you obviously know that I do bullet journaling, but if you are looking for something more digital and portable, then I really highly recommend Trello. I actually partnered with Trello for this video because I loved their app so much. It's basically an elevated version of bullet journaling, but digitally, so there's so many different features and things that you can do that you wouldn't normally be able to do just by using a regular planner. In my opinion, it's one of the most efficient digital organization tools out there, and I've tried a lot of them. This one is one that I've actually stuck to, and it's become my go-to for managing projects, publishing calendars, organizing events. How it works is you can create different boards and cards depending on the events and tasks that you need to get done. These elements are flexible, customizable, they can be renamed, moved around on the interface, used in different workflows. One of the coolest parts, and the reason why I love it, is because you can invite members to different boards and they'll be able to see and edit boards and collaborate with you on that specific board. So for example, if you're doing a group project at school, everyone can have access to the same checklist and due dates and attachments, and you can give each other comments and collaborate and see what each person is doing and what has been done, which is so awesome. I can think of so many scenarios in my life in the past where having something like this would have been extremely useful, like even organizing a party or doing something at work where you just have multiple minds that need to, be on the same track. Right now I use it specifically to manage my video production schedule. So I have different cards for each video that needs to get done, and once you click into that card you'll see that there's due dates. There's a really long checklist of things that I need to do for that video. You can also add attachments or comments for your team members to see. So for example, let's say my roommate who needs to see when I'm filming so she knows when to be quiet in the place. Or for example, let's say an editor who needs to see what video they need to edit next and what has been done and what still needs to get done and all of that. And also you can have access to it on your phone, your laptop, wherever you need to go. All of the core features are completely free. So if you do want to try out Trello, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description box below. You can test it out, see if it works for you. I highly recommend it. I'm sure that some of you will find it really, really helpful. My next tip is to set aside time for organization. I know that might sound weird or redundant, but basically I mean choose a specific time in the day where you create your to-do list, whether that is through bullet journaling or through an app like Trello. Personally, I do this every single morning. As soon as I wake up, I sit down and I think to myself, okay, what needs to be done today? And then I write out that list. It really sets you up for the day and allows you to have a mental picture of what needs to get done. You can do it at night and prepare yourself for the next day, or you can do it in the morning, whatever works for you. But I really find that setting aside that 10 to 15 minutes really makes the difference, and you'll get yourself mentally prepared. It's almost like going to battle. You don't just go in without a plan. You need a moment to prepare yourself and then go to it. So piggybacking off of that, you will probably have your large to-do list, but my next tip is to prioritize your tasks. I do something every day that I like to call the big three. This means that I choose 3 top main priority tasks that have to get done for the day. In my mind, everything else besides those 3 tasks are just extra. I know that there's going to be certain times when doing the big 3 is physically not possible. Sometimes you just have more than 3 tasks to really get done. But the main point is to prioritize. And this does a couple things. First of all, not only does it help me to keep my to-do list and my goals reasonable and realistic. In the past, I've tried to jam and fit way too much into my to-do list, and then I just get really disappointed in myself when I don't finish it. By focusing yourself on the main tasks, you feel proud when you finish them, but you also feel even more proud when you do more than those tasks. You see what I'm saying? It's basically like the saying undersell and over-deliver. I found that doing this helps me reduce my stress, especially when I have a super large workload. I can get really overwhelmed easily, so telling myself to prioritize and focus on the big tasks and then just taking it one step at a time after that really helps me out. My next tip is to hold yourself accountable or get someone else to hold you accountable for something. You know, when you're in school, you'll have the teachers who will give you a low mark if you don't hand in your assignment, or you'll get fired from your job if you don't do your work. But for tasks where there might not be a consequence if you don't do them, it can be hard to motivate yourself to actually do them. So for example, I'm actually working on a project right now where I essentially have to create an illustration every single day, and I knew going into this that I was going to have a difficult time keeping up with it. So I got Jacqueline, my best friend, involved, and I made an agreement with her. I was like, okay, every single day I'm going to text you a picture of my illustration. If you don't get that picture, that means that we are going to have to work out. And I know this might sound stupid, but that was enough motivation for me because I hate working out. For other people, maybe it could be like paying $5 or doing something that you really don't like. It may seem harsh, but you'll be surprised at how well it works. I think the idea of bringing someone into the equation really helps because both of you guys are invested in keeping you accountable for getting stuff done. My next one is just a quick little one, and it is to have a clean environment. I always find that when my room is a mess, my mind is a mess. So even if I just take a couple minutes to tidy up my room, I feel like my mind is mentally prepared to be more organized. I don't know if that's just me, but it really makes a difference in my life. So maybe it does for you. I'm sure there's some people out there who feel more at peace in chaos, but I am definitely not one of those people. My very last tip is done is better than perfect. I actually made a whole video about this. It was a short film called Erasing the Doubt, where I talk about perfectionism and how it can ruin your creativity, it can ruin your productivity, because sometimes you're just so focused on getting the little details right or making everything perfect, and then you lose sight of the bigger picture. That has certainly happened to me. Sometimes I'll focus too much on one thing, and then before I know it, the whole day is gone and I've only completed one thing and the rest of the tasks have been completely forgotten. In some cases, it really is better to be done rather than perfect. I know that might be contradictory to the whole quality over quantity thing, and by no means am I saying to just do a bad job of things in order to get it done, but I am saying do the best job that you can within the confines of a timeline. If you're only focused on the details and making every little thing perfect and you're not worrying about time, you will never get everything done. And not only that, you'll never finish that task because you'll always find something different to worry about. I'm going to link the Erasing the Doubt video in the description box if you want to check that out. It definitely talks about it a bit more. I actually learned about this through the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which is also a great read if you want to read that. And it really opened my mind to things because I've found that in the past I've stopped myself because of my perfectionism. Alright everyone, so those were all of my tips on staying organized, being productive, procrastinating less. Hopefully you found this helpful. I know that there were some of you out there who are using this video to procrastinate, so in that case, go away, get some work done, get your life organized. Thanks again to this week's sponsor, Trello. I'm going to leave the link in the description box if you want to check out Trello. Other than that, just make sure you click that bell button down below so you never miss a new video from me, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys!